right, it's going to be an awesome show for sure. As always, topics include motorcycles, marketing, funnels, and pretty much anything else that starts with the letter M. Towards the end of the show, we'll spin the wheel to reveal the final topic, and we'll go kind of just off the cusp and see what happens. But in the meantime, or first, I should say, we have a truly kick-ass guest with us here today. Owner of Mike Means Marketing. He's a father of like 162 kids in Florida. He's the host of the Kick-Ass Dad Show and the 10-minute hacks from the best marketing minds, aka the 7-figure ad dad. This guy is literally the hustle to my flow. He's my evil front-end counterpart, and I'm truly honored to have him here today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Michael Mataluni.
That was the best intro I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, cheers, bro. You deserve it, man. You deserve it.
Thank you, brother. It's great to be here. I'm freaking thrilled, by the way. I love your studio. I freaking love the gumball machine. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on the show or not, but I love it all, bro.
Thanks,
it's great.
Man. Shoots.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be colorful. You know, it's a little piece of me. For many years, I kind of tried to be somebody else and tried to be what I thought other people wanted. And this show's all about the opposite. I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to be the colorful guy that I am and bring on some super colorful guests as well. And we'll just go with it. But,
well, I'm loving that idea because I did that for a long time too. And I still find myself struggling with it, right? This idea that you need to be the person that you think you need to be in order to be successful, where the reality is you're chasing dreams, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the biggest lessons I learned was that, you know, if you want to attract the people that you like or the people like you just got to be yourself. And that's how you're going to attract the people that you like. And, you know, when you're pretending, you're only going to attract people that are pretending, and that's never fun. So, yeah, well, thanks for being on the show, man. I'm super excited to have you here. I definitely am looking very much forward to hearing your story and how you got involved. I see that you live in Florida and you're like in Ocoee, right? So you're pretty much like 20 minutes away from where I used to be. So
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I grew up in Florida, man. We lived in Orlando and Winter Springs, Altamont Springs, and yeah. So.
Oh wow, yeah, dude. Like I'm in Ocoee, so yeah, right down the street from all those places. That's no shit.
How long you lived there your whole life?
No, like I ask people down in Florida. I'm like, so where are you from? You know, because nobody's from here.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I was actually born in New York, raised in Atlanta. Awesome. And I spent quite a bit of time out in Oregon, and my wife and I fell in love and moved out to Indiana, and then Louisville, and then finally Orlando.
Oh, cool. So how long you guys been out there?
We've been here for about 6 years.
Cool. Excellent. Going on that. Yeah, I was out there for maybe almost 10 years. We did the same, you know. It's I find that question hard to answer as well. People ask me, where are you from? I'm like, well, I was born in Hawaii. I was raised in Florida. I grew up in California, became a man back in Hawaii. I don't know, you know, just from wherever I'm at. So.
Right.
But yeah, it's something's powerful down in Orlando, man. There's some really solid entrepreneurs coming out of Orlando and really just sticking it to us. And I love seeing it. I love seeing the fellow Floridians. So you say you were born in New York?
Staten Island. Yes.
Staten Island.
Yeah.
Cool.
We left when I was about 2 and then moved to Atlanta. My father was frustrated because he had a brother or a cousin named John Mataluni. His name is John Mataluni, and his cousin was kind of getting mixed up in the mafia a little bit. And at one point, my father, I was about 2 years old. My father had a gun pointed at him, and he said, "Okay, we're leaving.
Yeah,
we're done."
Good on him. Good on him. Yeah, I could imagine if you would have been raised there, you know. Probably would have been part of something.
I'd probably be wearing the same hat that I'm wearing right now.
Either that or a fedora. Mataluni would have an entirely different context right now.
Yeah. Don't fuck with Mataluni.
Yeah, this show must be good. Cool. So you guys moved, and all right. So what was life like as a kid? What was some of your early memories?
It was kind of fucked up. So I mean, I had a very loving family. My mom and dad were incredibly loving, but they were also a little crazy. So my mother had suffered from some bipolar disorder and some mania and different things, and it wasn't helped by the drug addictions. And so I lost her to prison when I was about 10, and got her back a few years later. And it was always a struggle because she loved me tremendously, but it was every day was an up or a down, right? So it was like either she was the most amazing woman in the world or she was an utter lunatic. And I never knew where I stood as a kid, so I always had very difficult. I mean, I wet my pants. I mean, I could not get myself together because I was absolutely terrified of not knowing what was going to happen next. So I think that might have a lot to do with my drive to overcome. Like I'm really driven. I'm a really passionate person. So whatever I do, I really take control and own it. I think that's to try to create some sort of control over my world and my environment that I was lacking when I was a child.
Nice. Yeah, and you also take. I see you take it with you in what you do now, and trying to provide the opposite for children and the youth that you work with. You work with some youth in Orlando, right? You're a youth counselor, or
Yeah, no. So I actually I'm a soccer coach, so I teach the kids soccer,
cool.
and I actually got involved with them because I teach a course called Life Possibilities, which helps people to get clear on their passions, their talents, their values, figure out where their greatest joy meets the world's greatest need, and then create a life path for themselves.
Nice.
So I originally went down there to teach that to the kids, and they were kind of like, who the hell is this guy? Like, what's he coming in here into my hood? I mean, this we're talking like underserviced community, violence, drugs, like it's pretty dangerous down there. And so like, they're like looking at me like, you're a poser, you're a punk, you're a bitch, it was like that. Like they wouldn't say it to my face, but I could,
that's the energy.
trying to pull them out of that energy was like, it was like pulling teeth. And so I got smart, right? So I stopped trying to teach them what I thought they needed to know. And I just started to try to learn from them, like, hang out with them. And so I started going down there and just playing soccer with them. And now it's like Coach Mike this and Coach Mike that. And like, like high fives all around. Like I'm the man now. So yeah. But I really enjoy those kids. And when it's time again, I want to start teaching that course to them again, because now they trust me, right? It's about, and this is what advertising is all about too. It's about building relevance, right? And so when you can create relevance with people and trust, then you can teach them something, then you can sell them something, then you can, and that's really a life lesson that I keep learning everywhere I go.
Yeah, people got to know you, like you, trust you before they're ever going to listen to you, especially or buy from you. Like, you're absolutely right. So, so I mean, from my research and from my experience with you, I see the social media posts of you and your kids, and I see the posts about the youth counseling, and I see that, you truly have like become the embodiment of your brand, the kick-ass dad. From what I see, from my experience, I definitely see that. So I would, to third party perspective here, I would definitely say that those childhood experiences, were beneficial and definitely played a good role in who you are and who you become. So
absolutely. And I, like people ask me, I guess nobody's ever actually asked me this, but I asked myself, I've asked myself, like, would you change it? Right? Like, would you do, and I'm like, and I say self, no, I would not change itself. Because it's those experiences that made me who I am today. Now, just because I wouldn't change my past doesn't mean I don't want to, take control of my future, right? And that's, I think that's the most important thing to learn from a tough childhood, is that you have, I don't know if have you read, I can't remember the guy's name, but he wrote a book called The Truth About Relationships. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he talks about how like being childhood trauma is like, so you're a prostitute, and the childhood trauma is the beneficiary of your services, and the beneficiary of your services leaves cash on the table, and that's kind of how it is. You get fucked, but you get paid after it's over.
Well, at least you're looking on the bright side. That's something I've always liked about you. The good in anything, right? Yeah, awesome. So when did you transition into marketing? When did you find marketing?
So in 2013, I was just tired of my job, man. I had been in the restaurant business for years. Like, I could always make the best of my situation, right? So I dropped out of college, but I was in restaurants, I was a server, and I always just kind of excelled at whatever I put my mind to. So, I promoted to bartender and then promoted to manager. And so, I spent years, making good money in the restaurant industry, but I was just so tired of it, dude. Like, I wanted to be doing something that I could have more impact on the world. I wanted to be, mentoring kids and doing all these different things. And so I started a podcast in 2013 called Kick-Ass Dad, Passionate Parents from the Volatile World. And that did very well. I studied some of the experts, what they were doing, how they were getting results podcasting. And they told me, you need to get on the new and noteworthy section of iTunes. And I said, okay, how do you do that? And they said, this, you do this, this, and this. I said, okay. So I went and did that, and I was able to get on the new and noteworthy section. And I was like, texting all my friends, I need you to subscribe. Like, they were probably so annoyed with me, but it worked. And so, I got to that level, and then I just started getting listeners from all over the world, and they're writing me letters, and they're doing some amazing things. And I'm coaching people who I've never met before. And I'm not making any money though, right? So I'm not figuring out how to turn this really cool thing into cash so I can leave my job. And I was just so frustrated. I remember being at work and calling my wife and just being in tears and just crying and telling her I did not want to be here. I wanted to be at home with her. I wanted to be with the kids. I wanted to be doing what I love to do. And I was just so unhappy there. And so I just poured myself into digital marketing. I learned how to do Facebook ads. I learned how to build landing pages and lead pages. And I started to really embark on this marketing journey. And I had never had any interest in marketing in the past, like none. Now, I was very interested in psychology and philosophy. Those were things that really I was passionate about. And so those lend themselves well to what I'm doing now. Yeah. But I didn't really know that's what I wanted to be doing. And then I kind of started to fall in love with it. And so, I poured myself into it, and then I started doing webinars, teaching people, or doing sales webinars, telling people about podcasting and the power of podcasting, and then offering a mastermind group at the end. And that was how I made my first couple dollars online.
Excellent. So did you face any struggles? Was it just like a walk in the park for you?
Oh, it's cakewalk, bro. Cakewalk. Nothing bad ever happened.
Awesome. Ever. Yeah, good to hear. Yeah. Thanks for coming to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the struggles that you...
Yeah, dude. So many struggles. Well, I was trying to get out of my job, right? I was trying to get out on my own. And so I was doing these webinars, and it just so happened that I met, so one of my mentors was actually the creator of a podcast that I modeled. His was called The Kick-Ass Life. Mine was called Kick-Ass Dad. Totally jacked it from him because I had heard him say in one podcast, do what successful people do, model what successful people do. And I was like, all right. Yeah, I was like, listen, all right, okay. I like the Kick-Ass brand. I like being a dad, Kick-Ass Dad. Like, it's natural. And eventually I reached out to him. I was like, hey, I'd really like for you to come on my show. He's like, what's it called? I was like, Kick-Ass Dad. He's like, nice. And so he had me on, or I had him on my show, and then he had me on his show. And we started to develop this friendship. And one day I'm trying to put on a dad's event with another coordinator. And so we're looking for funds. So I call up this guy, the Kick-Ass Life, David Wood. And I'm like, hey man, would you be interested in investing in this? He's like, what are you charging? We're like, it's gonna be like $20 per dad, per parent. He's like, fuck no. I'm like, what, dude? And he's like, dude, I don't invest in anything where you're not charging at least $500 a head. I'm like, oh, all right, fine. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, I get it. She's like, but you might think about crowdfunding. I was like, crowdfunding? He's like, yeah, crowdfunding. It's like, I have a buddy, Seymour Segment, who just did a crowdfunding campaign, raised a few $100,000. Maybe he can teach you a few things. So he's like, hold on. So he dials the dude in, right? He just like right there on the spot. He's like, let's call him in. So he dials him in. Seymour answers, and we start chatting. And just so have it, Seymour he was struggling a little bit because he had raised all this money, but the production of the product was taking too long. So he wanted to create a podcast in the meantime while he waited. And I'm just like, yeah. And we're like, oh yeah, what kind of podcast do you want? And he didn't know the name of my podcast. He didn't know the name of David's podcast. He goes, I'm thinking about the Kick-Ass Crowdfunding Show. And me and David are just like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah. And so we're like, okay, that's interesting. And we start chatting, and I'm like, yeah, I've got a podcast. I'm helping people launch podcasts. He's like, really? I'd love to get your help. And so I sent him one of the webinars I had recorded. And this is why you never know just do shit, right? You never know what's going to happen. So I sent him the webinar, and I remember this. I was in Oregon, and he calls me up. I was on vacation with my family, and he calls me up, and he's like, hey, Mike. He's like, listen, dude, I want to, I really don't want to do this podcast on my own. I want you to do it for me. I want you to like set it up for me. Do all the tech. Just do everything. I'll just show up and record. I'm like, okay. I mean, he's like, well, so what do you need for that? What kind of money you need? I was like, well, I would need to do that for you. I need to be full time, and I need to like quit my job. And he's like, all right, well, what is that? And I was like, $5,000 a month for 3 months. He's like, done. I was like, holy shit.
Asking shall receive.
It was amazing. So I was like, okay. So I grabbed my wife. I'm like, tears rolling down my face. I'm like, are you cool if I quit my job? She was like,
would that be all right?
And she was, and she took a big risk, but she believed in me, and so it's amazing. She's amazing. And so so I did it. And so and I knew that I could go back to the restaurant industry if I wanted to. It was not this like crazy, like, pulling the oxygen mask off or anything. And that's what I recommend to people. Like, if you're tired of your job and you want to get out, like, don't just quit your job when you're making $20. Like, figure shit out, like hustle on the side, figure out what you're passionate about, do the things that you don't mind doing after work, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's an important part of this whole thing about, living your life's purpose is don't just try to make some money so you can get out of your job. Figure out what you're passionate about. Figure out what your life's purpose is. Side hustle that. And then when there's an opportunity, because these opportunities stack, once there's that opportunity, then take the leap.
Absolutely. Right on the money. I think that you nailed it with just sometimes you just got to do it, right? You just, you never know what's going to happen. And for me personally, I'm kind of spiritual, and I think that everything happens for a reason. I know it's cliche, but I definitely think that, things that come into your life, people that come into your life, situations and opportunities that come into your life all kind of happen for a reason. And, you never know what is out there until you go out there. And I'm a go with the flow guy. You're a hustle guy, and I definitely learn a lot from you as far as like just taking action and doing it and seeing what sticks. But yeah, I definitely think that you can't you shouldn't allow yourself to sit in the room and just think about what could happen or what should happen. Or, sometimes you just got to do it, and the best thing eventually happens anyways. So that's awesome. That's good to hear.
Right. And then you've taught me a lot too, right? So for me, not taking on everything is a challenge, right? Because I get all these ideas and I just want to do everything. And so that's not productive either. So, stepping back and hooking up with you and starting to slow myself down and do some more planning and do some more strategy has really helped me a lot. And I think that balance that we share, that hustle and flow, is really powerful, and it can be incredibly conducive to amazing things.
Yeah. Speaking of amazing things. Yeah. So this is usually after the interview, I like to go into, or I'm going to be going into a little marketing segment where maybe we spend a couple minutes looking over some people's marketing or their funnels, or kind of taking a look at what they got or what they're struggling with. And we'll do that with the live show. But this being the first one, you and I had come up with the idea of kind of giving like a little, 10-15 minute lesson on marketing. So, just to kind of get the marketing aspect into the show, even before we have all the viewers and the questions coming in. So what I figured we'll do in honor of your 10-minute marketing hacks, or 10-minute hacks from the greatest, I say greatest marketing minds, because from the episodes I've watched, really, guys, if you haven't seen the show, do it now. But with that being said, we're going to do a little 10-minute JV hack. Sound good? Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
10-minute JV hack. So I call this how to pay with passion and have other industry leaders make it their life's mission to help you fast track your business from 6 to 7 figures and beyond. That's my headline. Yeah, mind blown. So we're going to do this. This is like the JV hack, right? So you want to explain what JV is, or what the hack is, a 10-minute hack?
Sure, I would be honored, sir. Awesome. So a JV is a joint venture. And what that means is that you are linking arms with another entrepreneur or marketer or somebody who's got a vision that is similar to yours, so that you can be duplicating efforts, right? So so let's say I've got a skill or a passion, you've got a skill or a passion. Instead of us both going out and spending money to get something, now we can just trade resources. So you need a logo, I need a website, or whatever those things are, you can start to come together to help each other. And when you get, up to the stratosphere of JV launches, now you're mailing to each other's lists, you're driving traffic for one another, you're killing it for one another, because there's nothing more valuable in marketing than trust. And so when you've got somebody who's an influencer and people trust them, and you've got a great product, you're going to be way better off utilizing that person's list going to your product versus trying to build a list yourself. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be building a list yourself, because you're going to want to help other people and use that to generate sales for them and commissions for yourself ultimately. So that's, did I cover most of the JV there?
Yeah, you got it, man. You got it. So the idea, or as you were talking about earlier, kind of we may have this tendency to overthink things and try to figure out how we're going to do it all, and it can be crippling, trying to figure out how to do everything. Or if you're like me, or if you're like Michael, and you're most confident in your own skills, you try to do everything, right? You can figure it out. So why pay somebody, or why, you go right into doing it. And the truth is that, for what I'm learning is, you can get more done. It may be more productive to team up with somebody that has the same type of passion and drive, and who really, shares the same kind of purpose that you may have, and has opposite skills, or has skills that may, contribute to what you have going on, or who may complement you and the skills that you have. So, for example, Michael and I have some similar skills, but he's very, very good at the front end, and I'm focused mainly on the back end and building funnels. And so you put us together, and it's literally like a dream team. It's been amazing so far, and I know that what we have coming up is going to be amazing, and we're going to get into that as well. But so with the JV hack, with the 10-minute JV hack, what we're trying to basically get you able to do, or able to think about here, is that you don't have to do it all, and you definitely don't want to wait until you know how to do it all. You can literally go out and find other people that may share your passion and purpose and have skills that complement yours. So you want to go out, and it's about taking action. It's about finding people that you can work with, and creating a project that is a win-win situation for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this particular JV hack that I'm going to be going through right now, it's really only like a Cliff Notes version of what we have in our next launch that we're going to be doing. I almost said the name, but it's a little bit too early for that. So in the next launch that we're going to be doing, we have a particular part of the training is devoted towards this and finding JV partners and setting up the project. This is really only like a little part of that. So this isn't the whole thing, but it'll definitely give you a good idea. But we broke it up into 5 steps, 5 stages for the JV hack, right? So the first one would be to pre-frame. Okay, step 1 is to pre-frame. Step 2 is the plan. Step 3 is the partners. Step 4 is the pitch or the offer. And step 5 is the presentation. So you have like that, okay? So first up is the pre-frame. So what that means is before you go out and before you start trying to locate your partners, or before you try to pitch anybody, especially a major influencer or one of the people on your Dream 100, like you don't want to burn that opportunity right off the bat. You definitely want to know what you're doing, know what you're offering, and you want to have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted before you go after your partners. So the pre-frame is to kind of get this, set the stage. It sets the stage. It tells the story. So when you're creating your pre-frame, you want to keep it short and simple. You want to make it about them. And you want to basically have a reason for the plan, right? The next stage is the plan. You want to the pre-frame is kind of like the story behind and the reason for the plan. Yeah, would you agree there?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. So for example, I'm going to be using examples of something Michael and I are doing right now. It's a project that we actually have going on right now, and we are formulating a JV team for the next project. So I'm just kind of going to use some of the things that we're doing as an example for the lesson. So our pre-frame, for what we would be doing if we were packaging our pre-frame, or when we were packaging our pre-frame, it basically goes something like this. You have 2 superheroes. Yeah. All right. And they want to change the world, or they want to change lives, right? And they want to do something big. That's us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did an ask campaign. You guys know what an ask campaign is, or if you don't know what an ask campaign is,
You better ask somebody.
You better ask somebody. It's when you get out there and you ask everybody what they want to buy, right? If you ask people what they want to buy and they tell it to you, and then you give that to them, they give you money. It's a crazy thing. But so we did an ask campaign, and we basically put out the question like, what's your number one question about starting a business, or if you're struggling, what's your number one question that we can help you with? And the number one question that came back to us every time is, if we had to start over from scratch, how would we get to 0 to 6 figures, or 6 figures to 7 figures? How would we go from nothing to $1 million if we had to do it all from scratch? So with that question being the number one question, we figured that we were going to not just tell you or tell them, we were going to show them. So that leads us into the plan, right? So our pre-frame is that we're 2 badass superhero guys that want to change the world. We put out an ask campaign and got our question, and now based on that question, we're going to package a huge offer stack, a nice high ticket offer to answer that question. So that would be the pre-frame. Did you have anything you want to add there?
No, I think that this idea, and this is something that you taught me, because I tend to go, okay, I want to sell this product. I'm going to go build a landing page now. And or I'm going to go start ranking the ad. And this idea of stepping back and creating the pre-frame allows you to think yourself, or to kind of put yourself into a mindset that you can see what the big picture is. And I think that's where I tend to that's where I tend to fall off the wagon, because I think that's really the most important part. And so getting back to basics and doing the pre-frame is, I just wanted to just throw on top of how important that is.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't have to be much. Keep it simple. It's basically just the reason for the plan. It's just the story behind the plan, which leads you into the next stage, the next step, which is the plan. Now, you have 2 parts of the plan. You have your plan, what you are putting together, and you have their plan, or the plan that you're going to walk them through, or walk the customers through. So you kind of want to know, you definitely want to know both. Uh, and your plan must get the desired results for them, right? So we have our plan. We have, our plan is to create a high ticket offer and to create this product, but it's more about them, right? It's the plan that is gonna, what do we have in store for them, our partners, our JV, partners that we're bringing on. And you really want to make your plan about them, not just about like what you have going on. It's not just about Michael and I. It's really about the 10 people that we're going to bring on board. And it also must be easy to follow, right? You don't want to go in with all this techno babble and have like this super like, Michael's board behind him right now. Like, that is intense. Like, woo, right? So when you're doing your JV, like, you definitely want to try to keep the plan, or at least have the plan seem simple and seem easy to follow. And you want it to have show the potential of solving their problems, of getting the results that they want, right? So um, it's really, I can't put it's on the tip of my tongue, but really it's just about them. When you're creating your plan, yeah, it's the plan that you have, that we're going to go through, but it's more about the partners that you're bringing on board. And so we'll go into an example using our plan as the example, right? So like I said, we're going to be creating and launching a high ticket offer, fast track coaching program. And it basically will allow our customers to push the reset button and start fresh, and basically will take them from 0 to 6 figures, or 0 to 7 figures. It's a complete walkthrough of all the steps. That's what we're going to be creating. And it's going to basically allow them, or show them the fastest, most effortless way of getting from 0 to 6 figures, or 6 to 7 figures. Now that is our plan. That's what we are creating, but that really doesn't show our partners what our plan is for them, right? So when we're going after our JV partners, we're not just teaching them the plan of the training that we're creating, or the plan of the product that we're launching, or the business that we're building. It's more about the plan that we're walking them on, right? So for our example, our JV partners are going to get to go through this entire program with us. And they're going to get to basically actually be a part of creating the entire program with us. So as we go through this program, as we're creating it, we're actually going to take a group of, let's say, 10 people through this program as we're creating it. And it'll help us make sure that it's like the best of the best, and make sure it's perfect, right? So we're going to actually take a group of partners through this program as we're creating it. Now, it's not just going to be any partners. It's actually going to be partners that we feel are going to be able to contribute to the overall project, right? So they're going to be like designers and web people and advertisers. We're going to get into that more when we cover the partner section, but our plan is to take a group of JV partners through the entire process of creating this program and packaging this program that will eventually allow them to go from 6 to 7 figures, or 0 to 7 figures, right? So it's more about the plan of actually walking our JV partners not only through the program that we're creating, but the actual process of creating a program and launching a program. And yeah, so when we're pitching our plan, or when we're developing our plan, we really fine tune how it affects them and how it's going to get them the results that they want. It's not just about us and our big plans. Yeah. Okay. So
Boom.
Like I said, it's just so we're clear, it's going to be a high ticket offer. We're going to launch it to the public in the next few months. But again, first we're going to be putting together our dream team, and they're going to be 10 skilled individuals who all meet the needs that we'll be covering here soon. and they're going to get to go through the entire program first, right? They're going to be a part of creating, developing, and launching the program, and they're also going to be used as case studies and testimonials, and they're going to get to be a part of our dream team that we're putting together here. So the plan is twofold, right? It's the plan that we're actually building a product to launch later, and it's the plan that we're actually going to be walking a group of JV partners through not only the training, but in actually creating this product that we're going to be launching together. Everybody gets to have a piece of that. I think I explained the plan clearly enough. Yeah.
I think so.
Awesome.
Yeah. And just so your listeners know, this was completely your idea. I was like, when you presented this to me the first time, pretty much how you just presented it to your listeners, I was like, my jaw was on the floor. I'm like, holy shit, this is such a good idea. And because I think one of the most one of like the greatest joys for me in doing this and partnering with you is to be able to, because I've been to the top of the mountain and I've fallen, right? So I've built the $1 million company, and then I've gone back down to square one. And so I know where people are when they're trying to start over. I know people who have either did it all and then they went bankrupt, or they just had hugely successful, high-powered careers and then they went off on their own and they can't even get their business off the ground. Like, these things happen all the time. And to be able to speak to those people and help those people in a way that's not gimmicky and that's not bullshit and that's not like, all you need is to learn Facebook ads and you're going to be great. And it's like, dude, there's so much more to it than that. And this idea of, doing it, partnering with the right people and partnering with people who have different skills than you have and who are passionate, right? And it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, and it sounds a little complicated, especially, it's when we're doing a JV hack and we're teaching you to come up with a plan and also using the plan as an example. A little bit kind of gets mixed and muffled together there. But the idea is for the JV hack, really, when you're coming up with your plan, make it about the partners, make it about the people that you are trying to bring into the project. It's not just about you and your big ideas, although that's great. It's really about the partners that you're bringing on, which brings me to the next step, which was partners. So for the step of the partners, the things you want to do, you want to find an accountability partner, right? That's first and foremost. For me, it was first and foremost an accountability partner. Michael, you want to explain what that may be?
I hate the word accountability, so no, I don't want to do that.
Fair enough.
I'm just kidding. No, but I really do hate that word. But the idea is that you are coming up with a plan together and you're coming back to meet and talk about what you accomplished. And when you do that, like, I can't tell you how many times in my business life I've gotten shit done because I had a meeting about it in 3 hours, right? And so it allows you to hold yourself accountable, and somebody else hold you accountable for getting done what you say you're going to get done.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we have certain words that tend to be paralyzing phrases, and that may be one of them. Accountability. You may be right on the money with that. For Michael and I, we're accountability partners, but just like he said, it's more of like, okay, we have a meeting. Let's make sure we're prepared for that meeting. It's not like other accountability programs where they make you swipe your credit card, and if you miss this meeting, you have to send them your life's inheritance. Or I'm not, you guys can decide amongst yourselves the level of accountability you want to bring into it. But really, it's just to have somebody there that, like, is on your side, right? And has some of the same visions and some of the same passion that you may have. And it's all about momentum. I know that the weeks that I'm talking to my partners, there's so much more progress made just because the momentum's going. I'm fired up. I'm excited. I'm just on my game. And so for me, it's not just about like I said, accountability of like, oh, if I screw this up, I owe you something. It's more of just like, maintaining that momentum and keeping the ideas fresh and keeping the ideas flowing back and forth. So
that's it.
Yeah. So, find somebody, partner up with somebody who wants to do big things as well. And then once you have a partner, the next thing would be to form a tribe or to form a team, right? And these are people who have the skills that you don't, right? I want to make that clear, because if you have the skills, um, how do I put that? Like, if you're 100% on top of your game in a certain area, it doesn't make any sense to bring somebody else who's right there at that level in that same exact area, right? You want to complement each other's skills, right? So if you're really great at building websites, and you really suck at who knows, like Facebook ads, like bring on a Facebook ad guy, right? And don't bring on another web guy, right? Because the whole point is, like, I want to help you and you want to help me, and let's like share each other's services and talents and skills. So you want to find
Exactly.
people,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was just going to
who
say, you spend all that time, all that money trying to build your business by going out and paying all these other people that you can't afford to pay at this time, right? The JV hack is about getting a group of people together who can support one another and elevate one another, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. And that's really the spirit and the mentality behind the JV launch. It's not going to work with a bunch of, negative people. You need to find positive people who want to be of service to others, and you have to want to be of service to others as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it leads me into the next part I was going to say. You don't always have to even have the money to pay. I can hear it already. Like, well, I don't have the money to pay these partners for all the, like, that's not what this is about. This is about finding people who have skills that complement each other and partnering up with each other so that you can help them. You can scratch their back, they can scratch yours, and everybody rises together.
Yep.
And we call it, Michael and I call it paying with passion, right? You can literally pay with your passion that you have about a project, or about a certain purpose, or something that you want to build or do. You can literally pay with your passion. If somebody else hears how passionate, I can't even tell you how many people, just from the little bit of fire that we have going on, people are coming out like, what's this project you guys are working on? I got to get in. They're not even thinking money. They see the passion, they see the drive, and they want to be a part of that. So in the beginning, just pay with passion. Go out and fire these guys up on the plan that you just created and formulated, and get them on board and share the skills with each other to make it a win-win for all players across the board.
Boom.
So for example, like when we're formulating our JV team, he's got a lot of the stuff on the front end down. I got most of the stuff with the building the funnels down. So the people that we're going to bring on to our team are people that are going to assist us in what we already have going on. They're going to be able to, take certain projects off of our back or off of our plates that otherwise may take us a lot longer to do. Of course, we could do it. We're superheroes. We can figure anything out, but it takes a little bit longer for me to go and create podcast art or cover photo or anything design wise. Instead, we just brought on a design guy, and we help him with his funnels and help him doing his thing, and he helps us with design. So when we're formulating our partner list, we wanted to make sure that we have people that complement our skills, and you really bring something to the table. So I'm just going to read our partners list real quick, just to give you an example of what we were looking for. So we were looking for a virtual assistant. This is somebody that's just going to kind of help out with general tasks and general things, helping us. We're also looking for a social media manager, somebody to manage the social media profiles while we're doing our thing and doing our creative and getting all of the programs and everything packaged. We were looking for an assets and design guy. We got that. A writer, somebody that do like little blurbs, and somebody who can do, definitely skilled in copy, perhaps even take what we're doing in our classes and our training and actually package it into like a book or chapters of a book. So we were looking for writing. Affiliate managers, traffic managers, publicity managers, video masters, doc crews. So I'm not going to get into like as if we were pitching you guys, but it's really like just about formulating a list of all the partners that you think would really bring everything to this project and make it awesome, and then going after those people and literally paying with passion. Just going and sharing your passion with this list of people, and even if you get 3, 4, or 5 out of the 10, or whatever, you're doing much better than you were or would have been before. A lot more progress is being made, I can guarantee that.
Booyah.
So after you have you got your pre-frame, you pre-framed it out, you got your plan, you presented this plan to the partners, right? Or you have your list of partners that you're going to present to. Sorry. The next thing you want to do is formulate the pitch, right? What am I going to say to these potential partners, the offer? So what I would suggest doing, right, is just showing them the way, right? Showing them the way that you are going to help them get the results that they're looking for. Again, making it about them. So showing them the way, keeping it simple. Like I said earlier, the technobabble, we as entrepreneurs get so fired up over our projects, our products, or our companies that we're working with, that we know all the details, and we want to go in and we want to like give them all the technical this and the deck. They don't want that, right? And especially not in the beginning. So keep it simple. Highlight the hidden benefits. That's something that is huge when you're creating a pitch or an offer. You want to highlight the hidden benefits. So for example, our partners, they get to go through this program and they get to be a part of an awesome launch, and they may even get a percentage of equity in the end, right? That's part of the program, part of the plan for them. But the hidden benefits would be like, they're going to come out of our training with a 6-figure business, or they're going to come out, so the hidden benefits are things that are added onto the offer. I can't figure out how to exactly say that better, but yeah, think about the hidden benefits, not just the benefits and the advantages and the features, and the hidden benefits of the actual project that you're working on as well. And like we said before, pay with passion. Another thing that you can do is to offer equity. Right? So offer equity in the project in the long run. You can make a partnership saying like, hey, I'm doing this. I don't have any money right now, but you can see how awesome this is going to be. Would you care on like adding your services and maybe taking a percentage at the end or a percentage on the back end? So that's something that you can do as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for the example for our pitch and for our offer, we highlighted things like they get to be one of the only 10 people who get to beta test the program. They get to go through all 5 stages as they're created. They get to be a part of the creation and development and the launch, and they get to be a part of the mastermind group and the live training and the meetings, etc. But like I said, our hidden benefits is that they're going to end the program with a fully self-liquidated podcast funnel, and they're going to actually have some
So,
authority over.
will you define that real quick for everyone? Liquidating podcast funnel.
Yeah. So self-liquidated podcast funnel or self-liquidated funnel. Um, Self-liquidated basically means like it's a funded proposal. It funds itself. It liquidates itself. So, for example, if I were to spend $1,000 in advertising, I would want to immediately make $1,000 back or more so that I can put that money back into advertising, right? So if I'm driving traffic directly to just a single page sales letter, um, and I'm spending $1,000 to drive that traffic. For example, I spend $1,000 to drive the traffic. So in that lead generation process, I'm spending money, right? If I were to have on the very, like after they opt in on the very next page, if I were to have an offer there and a certain percentage of those people took me up on that offer, then let's say I had a $5,000 offer on the thank you page, like, hey, thanks for subscribing, join this $5,000 program, and I spent $1,000 in advertising. Well, if just one person bought that program, or if it averaged out to 1 out of 5 people buy that program, I make my money. It like breaks even. It's a break even point, right? So self-liquidating offer is an offer that funds itself so that everything else after that is profit. Right, so you can put as much money in advertising as you want because you know it's going to fund itself. You know that money is going to be returned at point of sale or point of lead generation, and everything else after that is pure profit. So it's self-liquidated. It liquidates itself and funds itself. It's also known as a funded proposal. I call it the SLO. Yeah. So the hidden benefit is you're going to go through our program and you're going to get to be a part of creating it and launching it, and you're going to get to be a part of the awesome mastermind and all that. But the hidden benefit is by going through that process, you're actually going to have the final podcast funnel, the self-liquidated funnel. At the end of it, you're actually going to have some authority spillover, some people that may hear of you or want to be a part of what you have going on based on the fact that they heard you were part of this project. So there's lots of hidden benefits. You know, when we're going over our when we actually do our presentation to present this to our partners, you know, we'll have a list of like all the things that they get, and then we'll have a list of the hidden benefits as well, that things that they might not think about, but those are like super powerful benefits. Yeah. And another thing when you're doing the pitch and the offer is like you want to have the catch, right? So what's the catch? There's a great book I read, and a lot of you guys have probably already read it, called Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, and he talks about the domino, knocking over the domino, right? I'm not going to teach the lesson, but it's a really great lesson that explains like people have you know, a blockage, a wall or something in front of them that prevents them from buying, and you want to knock that down. And a lot of times it's the catch, right? So you want to know what's the catch, right? And you want to be very transparent in that when you're talking to your partners, because anybody who worth their salt or anybody who knows what they're doing, they can smell bullshit a mile away. So you want to be super transparent. And a lot of times when you just get right out the bat, like, what's the catch? They'll respect you for that, and they'll be like, man, you know, he told me right away what, you know, he was so transparent. Like, of course, like, yeah, you know, it goes back to what Michael was saying before, the trust, right? It's all about the trust. So when you're formulating your pitch or your offer, you also want to know the catch, and you want to be transparent in that. So for example, for our catch would be like, you must be one of the partners that we had mentioned, right? We only have a certain list of partners that we want. It's not available to anybody, but you know, you must be one of these. Also, you must participate. You got to show up. You got to take action. You must complete the training and you know, put in your skills, put your best skills forward. We're all in this together. So when we're creating our list of what's the catch, you know, there's certain things that we're actually going to want from them in return, like, you know, want to be used as a case study or a testimonial. So we're going to say that in our presentation, when we're formulating our pitch, our offer, we're also going to tell them like, hey, look, here's the catch. You actually got to participate. You
Right.
actually,
You got to work.
yeah, you actually have to show up on these meetings, and you know, we're all in together. So yeah, you definitely want to be transparent in the catch when you're doing your presentation, which is the next step, the presentation. So man, as far as how to present, there are endless options, right? You can do it through a blog post or an article, press releases, live broadcast, webinars, you know, pre-recorded webinars, live webinars. However you do it, that's like up to you, right? How you feel most comfortable presenting. But examples, like I said, press releases, live broadcast, webinars, podcasts, social media posts. There's a lot of ways to do it. I think we're going to do a webinar eventually, probably do either a live webinar and boost it, or we'll do a auto webinar. But since this is a JV hack and we're only looking for like 10 people in our particular project, we may just do a live webinar, because having an automated webinar, you know, and building that and setting that all up just for like something that we know is going to fill up super, super fast, and we're going to have these partners, we'll see. But the point is just to have a presentation, to find the way that works best for you, feels most comfortable for you to present your opportunity to your partners. Like I said, we're going to be packaging a press release, and we'll probably do a live webinar for ours. And we'll reach out, you know, one-on-one and so on. But yeah, so from the pre-frame, you go into setting up your accountability partners, and then you create your plan, and then you create the pitch or the offer that you're gonna present to these partners, and then you find the way that you present it, whatever feels most comfortable for you. So, like I said, that's like it's a super quick, choppy version of the lesson that we're going to be teaching. And I know that like I can kind of feel it on the back of my neck that we're running out of time. So I was super rushing it, but you can kind of get the point of like, you don't always have to do it all yourself. And there are other people out there that have the skills that you may not, and they share the passion and the purpose that you have. Why not bring them on board, pull them together, create something huge together, create a win-win situation, go through those 5 steps, make it super simple, and just share your passion with people that you feel could, bring something to the table.
Love it. Exciting.
Awesome. Shoots. Excellent. Anything to add to any of that, or?
So when you said, we're not pitching anybody, we're not. But if you are one of those people, if you're one of those people who feel like you want to be a part of something explosive and you want to work with like-minded individuals who are passionate about the things that JP and I are passionate about, and again, it's limited to people who fit the roles that he mentioned. And it's limited to people who want to work, who want to show up and help other people be successful. We're going to teach you everything we know. I've run $1 million campaigns on Facebook. JP has been to the mountaintop and back, and I'm sure you'll go into future episodes and walk through your experiences. So I don't want to speak for you, but we've done it before. And this is going to be really fun. And so we're looking for the right people. And if this resonates with you, then you might want to shoot somebody an email.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely wanted to make this more about teaching you guys the hack than to try to actually pitch what we have going on. And there's definitely not enough time for me to cover it all right now. But, we're working on something big. We're putting together a JV team for our next project. It's going to be a high ticket launch. Everybody gets equity, everybody gets a stake, and we're all in it together. So if you think that you want to be a part of that, definitely, like he said, just send us an email, shoot us a direct message, and we'll fill you in on what's going on. Yeah.
Super.
Okay. So I think it's time, since we're running out of time, it's time to give the wheel a quick spin and do the last final topic. So we'll see.
Is MikeMeansMarketing.com on that wheel? Is that on there?
Yeah, no? It's right in the dead smack middle, dude. Let's see what happens. I always wanted to just spin the wheel. It was gonna be a prize wheel. Methods. Ooh.
Methods. Ooh.
You have a favorite method of doing anything? Do you have something?
It reminds me the first. Yes, thank you. The first thing that came to my mind was method acting, right? And it's the ability to get in the mind of a character, or to get into something deeply, right? So that was the first thing that popped in my head, because this idea of method acting it's like the deepest you can get into acting. It's like going back to a childhood experience, accessing that emotion, right, and then using it to come through in a certain experience. And I find that fascinating.
Excellent. It's crazy that was the word that we just came, because we just went over a method, right? We just went over our method of acquiring JV partners and bringing people on board a project and having them, contribute their skills without us actually coming out of money up front. Everybody, when you have a stake in the game, you tend to put your heart and soul into it. So that is our method of approaching JVs and formulating a partner. So I'm a very methodical guy, as you can tell. I'm very structured and somewhat OCD, and I definitely have everything I do. I think I try to turn into some sort of method or structure or methodology. Like this whole project that we're putting together, it started out as a little class that we were teaching each other, and then we're like, wait a minute, like if we structure it like this and structure it like that, like there's a method to that madness. So cool. Excellent. So how about motorcycles, man? You ever ridden a motorcycle?
I've ridden dirt bikes. I've never ridden a street bike actually. When I
Okay.
was a kid, I used to ride bikes with some of my buddies, and one of the shittiest stories I have about riding a dirt bike was I was going to take off of this like little mound, and I thought I was a badass, and I was not a badass, and
Mm.
so I kind of gunned it, and I ended up flying over the motorcycle and landed on my face. And then it was like it was all dirt. So just like this dirt just smashed into my eyes because obviously I wasn't wearing a helmet because that would only be intelligent.
Yeah.
Uh, and so like I thought I blinded myself. So that's pretty much the majority of my motorcycle experience.
Nice. I'm gonna be shoving my motorcycle news down everybody's throat at the end of every show. Not because it has anything to do with anything as far as marketing funnels or pretty much anything they love. But it's me, man. I love motorcycles. I really I can't wait to get another one. And we're gonna be doing our daily podcast from the bike eventually. So it's gonna be pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Do a little motorcycle tour. So more information on the moto as soon as we have that. Michael, thank you so much for being here today, man. Really, I had an excellent time with you, and it's as always, it's good talking to you. It's good seeing you, and thanks for taking the time to be with us here today.
You got it, brother. And if you want to reach out to JP, you can find him at.
You can find me at Funnel. Yeah, we just put together a new site for this particular podcast, FunnelHeadz.com. That's
Nice.
FunnelHeadz with a Z. Yeah, FunnelHeadz.com. And Michael, go ahead and drop your link as well before we
You
go.
can go to mikemeansmarketing.com, and we'll have some other things coming out soon. The kickassdadshow.com is going to be soon, but it's not out yet. So if you want to find me, mikemeansmarketing.com.
Awesome. Yeah, and look him up on Facebook. I'll link on my Facebook profile as well, so you guys can get in touch with Michael. He's a great dude. Really, just a truly awesome guy. So make sure you
I
link
got you.
up with him and make sure you send him a little note thanking him for the knowledge he dropped with us today. But yeah, all right, shoots, man. Aloha. Thanks for being here. Thank you guys very much for joining us with the FunnelHeadz Live. Thanks for allowing us to spin the wheel. That was fun. It was always kind of something I always wanted to do, whether it made any sense or not. It
I
was
like
fun,
it. I like it.
colorful, and yeah, aloha. You guys have an excellent, awesome, awesome day. Aloha.
Peace, JP. Thanks.